Good morning, all. Welcome to today's information session, TDP Lite. May I gently remind you to mute all your microphones. The presentation, as I said, will be shared following the webinar, as is the recording. And please keep your questions to the end, or you can ask them in the chat. So this is a bit of an introduction to our unit in Scienza Malta, which is the Research and Innovation Unit. The Research and Innovation Unit manages national funds for research and innovation. Our national funding portfolios are Fusion, Thematic, and the Research Networking Scheme. And unit manages 12 different R&D scheme funding projects across all levels of RDI. And the projects may vary from €4,000 to €500,000. A bit more on the Fusion portfolio, which the TDP Lite falls under. It is a national funding program that drives and supports local R&I. It provides aid for projects at all technology readiness levels, as you will see. And the programs range from one which are non-thematic to others that are more specific and niche. In 2025, the budgetary allocation for the R&I unit has increased to 9 million. And as I said, it manages and funds projects across all levels of RDI. So there's networking, basic research, applied research, as well as commercialization. So these are our funding programs. Today I will focus, as you know, on the Technology Development Programme Lite. However, if you need more information on the programs, on the funding routes that we offer, you can go to our website. There's a brochure available with a bit more information, as well as the contact points for each program. I am the contact point for the TDP Lite, so any questions can be forwarded to myself. So as you know, the call launched on the 7th of March, and it will close on the 23rd of May at 11:59 p.m. Late submissions will not be accepted, so make sure to prepare and have the submission ready in advance as per the deadline. A bit more on the Technology Development Programme Lite. For those that are new, the Technology Development Programme Lite is meant for applied expedited research. It accepts proposals starting at a TRL of 4 and allows for advancement to a TRL of 7, maximum TRL of 7. As I said, it's for expedited research, which is reflected in the budget and the duration, and it focuses on the areas defined in the smart specialization strategy, which are listed here. There is health and well-being, the sustainable use of resources, smart manufacturing, marine and maritime technology, aviation and aerospace, as well as future digital technologies. And as I said, the main objective is to expedite development to gain market competitiveness. For those that are a bit more familiar with our programs, you know that there's the TDP, which is the Technology Development Programme, and here we can see the differences between the two. Of course, the TDP Lite is, as is in the title, the lighter version of the TDP. They both focus on smart specialization areas. They both have a TRL range of 4 to 7. However, the duration of the TDP Lite is 12 or 18 months, not 12 to 18 months. The applicants have to be sole entity applicants. The budget has gone up from 150,000 to 200,000, and there's no feasibility assessment required. You might also ask about the Digital Technologies Programme, which is a program under the thematic of the R&I unit. The difference between the TDP Lite and the DTP, the Digital Technologies Programme, is that it is in collaboration with the MDIA. Its duration is that of 24 months. With regards to collaborations between entities, there's no restriction, and it also involves a technology sandbox, which allows projects to run in highly controlled environments with an application of regulatory restrictions. So who's eligible for the TDP Lite? There are two options. For option A, it goes for the private. You have to be a Maltese registered entity from the private sector. Again, TRL 4 to 7. And option B is for public entities or RKDOs or anything that falls under public entities. Again, TRL 4 to 7. And may I remind you that only sole applicants are eligible to apply for this program. So with regards to the routes that are available, for option A, you have two routes, which are de minimis and GBER, the General Block Exemption Regulation. With regards to the minimis, for those of you who might be more familiar, but I will still explain it a bit. There's a maximum of 300,000 euros under the de minimis over a rolling period of 3 years, and you can get a co-financing rate of up to 75%. GBER is a bit more different. It has a bit more restrictions, but it does not have that limit of the 300,000 as is the de minimis. So for GBER, you can get up to 60% in co-financing rate, and depends on the undertaking size and effective collaboration or wide dissemination. With regards to the non-state aid route, the aid intensity is 100%, and that's for option B. Here we have a summary of the eligible costs that fall under the TDP Lite. So you have personal costs, then you have management costs, which are capped at 10% of the project value. Consumables are capped at 30% of the project value. You have specialized equipment, and under GBER, so option A2, only depreciation costs related to the life of the project are eligible. You have travel, which is allowed up to a maximum of 4,000 euros, but it is not eligible under GBER. You have overheads and other operating costs at 20%, excluding subcontracting activities. With regards to subcontracting activities, they are kept at 40% of the project value. So even though a consortium is not allowed under TDP Lite, you can still acquire expertise through this route, through subcontracting. Of course, these have to follow the procurement regulations of the entity. There's also some ineligible expenses, and these can be found within the rules. With regards to deliverables need to be tangible and submissible, realistic to your project, and that align with the duration and the budget. You have the publishing of an article, at least one article in local newspaper or magazines with an acknowledgement to Scienza Malta, and these need to be presented to Scienza Malta within 2 weeks of publication. Reporting according to the templates provided. Meetings, the applicant and in that time, the beneficiary must hold a kick-off meeting and project progress meetings every 6 months to verbally update Scienza Malta. So for a TDP Lite, this would be a beginning, halfway, and end of project. The technical report at the end of the project, and the financial audit report at the end of the project. The deliverables, as you will see in the rules and in the application, need to be assigned a percentage weighting, and this is determined by the applicant depending on the contribution, the importance that deliverable has to the whole of the project. And this will be directly related to the project value. Of course, the financial audit report is not part of this weighting, as it carries on its own 100% weighting, as it is fully required. Additional deliverables are, of course, allowed. There's a maximum of 12. There should be a maximum of 12. And again, these need to be realistic and in line with project milestones and goals. This is a summary of the call procedure, so you have a bit of an idea of what will happen once you submit your application. This is a single stage submission. You can hold consultations with us, one-to-one consultations. We offer guidance for the applications on an administrative level. Of course, once you affect official submission, we cannot offer guidance or give you any information on your application. So make sure to approach us before affecting official submission. We can check it on administrative level to make sure that you are administratively compliant. As for the technical details, those fall under the evaluation criteria. This is a summary. There are 3 criteria, and this is a summary of what is expected under each criteria. A minimum of 70% pass from external valuation is required, and these are divided 25% excellence, 50% impact, and 25% implementation. The threshold under excellence is 15%, threshold under impact is 35%, and under implementation, it's 15%. So as I said, the application deadline for this call is the 23rd of May at 11:59 p.m. Kindly make sure to use this email, which is on the screen, to submit your application and keep myself and my colleague Kyle in copy. This information can also be found on the rules and in the application, and make sure that the subject heading is Technology Development Programme Lite Application Submission. And here you have the application checklist. So for option A, you must have a filled-in application form in both Word and PDF. Make sure that it's signed by the legal representative. CVs of all key researchers, the dissemination and externalization plan, additional declarations, financial projections in the case of a startup, the management accounts, forms relevant to either GBER or de minimis, depending on the option that you opt for, a Gantt chart, and the budget breakdown form. As for option B, you need the filled-in application form, again in Word and PDF, signed by the legal representatives, the CV of key researchers, additional declarations, non-state aid declaration, the Gantt chart, the budget breakdown form, and dissemination externalization plan. On the resources page of Scienza Malta, you will find the templates that are required for the additional declaration, non-state aid declaration, and so forth. And you will also find the budget breakdown form, which is quite easy, it's quite straightforward, and it will guide you accordingly on how you need to fill it. Thank you very much. Any questions? Yes, Roberto?
Hello, hello,
Hi.
hear me?
Yes,
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation.
of
Yeah,
course.
it's very nice and detailed. So my question is, so, so I understand that now the call is for TDP Lite,
Yes.
right? And the TDP is not possible to apply to the TDP.
No, the TDP is planned to open later on the year. We're thinking around September, but of course that can change.
Okay, okay, I understand. Um, mm, 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 um, okay, if I have another question, then I think I will forward. But
Okay, great.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, Sarif?
Good morning, Maria. Thank you
Good
for your
morning.
presentation.
You're welcome.
Because it is individual project, you mentioned then we can have a subcontracting
Yes.
work with other, yeah, right?
Mhm.
With partner, if we can say partner. Do we need to have a subcontracting agreement before, or
So you must have, so you must follow the SOP of your entity to subcontract, make sure that it's
okay?
transparent and fair. And of course, there needs to be an agreement with your subcontractor. And it is your responsibility once you choose a subcontractor that the deliverable or the expertise assigned to those to that subcontractor is delivered accordingly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
Another question.
Yes.
So, once after the deadline in May, the processing time, how much time more or less do we have until we will have some answer? Maybe
So
2, 3 months? Huh?
I can give you an overall timeline from the closing of the call until the grant agreement.
Mm.
It usually takes around 4, sometimes 5 months. But of course, that depends on the due diligence phase and how long that takes. But we usually envision 4 to 5 months. And the start date then is indicated in the grant agreement, which is the final phase before the project can start.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're
Thank you.
welcome. Any more questions? So if there are no more questions, I thank you for joining me today. As I said, this information session will be available as will be the presentation, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I will be reaching out to the attendees that have requested a one-to-one session in due time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.